Welcome everybody to Cutler's Hall in the heart of Sheffield. It's weigh-in day in these spectacular surroundings ahead of tomorrow night's show, True Grit, coming to you from just around the corner. It's headlined by Callum Simpson making the first defence of his British and Commonwealth super middleweight titles. He won in good style against Zach Chelly outdoors at Oakwell in the summer. Steed Woodall is the opponent. Steed Woodall coming into this off the back of a sensational knockout win against the former European British and Commonwealth champion in Lerone Richards. Caroline Dubois makes the first defence of her WBC World Lightweight title against Jessica Camara. An interesting battle at Cruiserweight between Scott Forrest and Devon Miller. And at middleweight, we'll get another look at Sam Hickey. He's up against Lewis Howes. Just had a chat to Lewis Howes, and he is very much here with the intent of winning, coming with the expectation of winning. Other good fighters on the undercard, Billy Dennis in a good scrap against Mickey Ellison. That absolutely will be a good one to watch. Ellis Price for the second pro fight, and Super Mario Silva as well. The ebullient Super Mario Silva will be in action. Matt Macklin and Johnny Nelson alongside me. The build-up to this has been respectful between the two main event fighters. We expected that. I was interested yesterday to hear Steed Woodall say that in his opinion Callum Simpson is not his toughest test to date. He's his most high profile test because of the titles that are on the line and because of the profile that Simpson has got. But as I mentioned, he's coming into this off the back of beating a former European champion, a former IBO champion in Lerone Richards. He's earned his right to be here and he expects to win.
Yeah, and it's easy to forget that, you know, Steed Woodall was a top-class amateur. You know, he turned pro at 19, went out into America sparring the likes of the Charlos, Durrell, all these people would have been slung in. You know, and he picked up a loss along the way and then probably went off the boil a bit. Then really inactivity has plagued his career. He broke his leg, then COVID happened, and he probably waiting for an opportunity, really. Then he took a fight against Port Macquarie in Ireland. It was a close fight, but he was on the wrong side of it. Probably was expected to lose. Well, definitely was expected to lose against Lerone Richards. Springs the upset there, and on the back of that, he's into this fight. So this is a fighter. If you put yourself in his shoes, that's been chomping at the bit, absolutely crying out for this opportunity. Everything in his career has been building to this night. And you speak to him and you talk to the lads, Soggy, John Peck, the team. This is like, they're not letting this opportunity pass them by. But of course, Callum Simpson is the guy who's on a roll. He's got the momentum. So, you know, you see why he's the favourite. But I think it's a tough one to pick a winner in.
Johnny, the Callum Simpson train, you know him, you know the family pretty well, you've known them for a long time. That train has got some serious momentum. We talk about the ability to sell tickets. It's still an old school thing. In an age of social media, it's still about that face-to-face interaction, people knowing who you are and where you're from. And Barnsley are 100% behind him. He won the titles at Oakwell. Good performance against a really good and difficult fighter in Zach Chelly, but obviously away from the ring in the build-up to this, things have been very difficult for him. He seems focused. It could go one of two ways, I guess, because sometimes it can become your release, can't it? Yeah. You know, the death of his sister, the tragic passing away of his sister is what we're talking about. It can focus the mind, it can be your retreat, or it can weigh very heavily. We don't really know.
Callum Simpson, I knew of this young man before Boxer signed him. So when Boxer signed him, I thought, what a great scout. He's done a good job there, because this boy, the people I've seen him spar with and how he's performed, he's hungry. He used to work in a shop in Meadowhall, selling trainers to everybody, and they'd go in, and this young man was in there. And he'd look at all the fighters that have passed through Sheffield. He has aspirations, he has dreams, he thinks, I want to do that. So he's put the work in, he's put the graft in. He's like the boy next door. That's why he's got such a fan base, which will carry on growing and growing and growing. I spoke to his dad when his dad came yesterday for the presser, and I said, how is it? And he knew what we were referring to in regards to how his mental condition, how he's emotionally, how is he feeling emotionally in such a fight. And his dad said, look, I went and watched every single sparring session. I stuck to him like glue. If I didn't think my son was ready for this, to handle this with what's happened, I wouldn't have let him fight. Now I know his dad's a proper crybaby, And so his dad's got a proper soft heart, and I know his dad would have pulled him out in an instant. But I understand, he needs to focus. He needs to have something to be more and more passionate about. So regardless of how this fight goes, I'm quite sure there's going to be a massive outpour of emotion because he needed something to focus on, and that's probably what's happening in his private life will probably hit him even more after this fight. But the worry to see what's happening in his private life, I think that isn't a worry until after the fight. Let him deal with it then. So it won't distract him from the job in hand. In the job in hand, Steed Woodall, and I'm telling you now, if you're a fighter and you're going away and sparring with the best, that's when the true work's being done. That makes you a dangerous fighter because you know you're actually how good you are compared to the domestic level. So I don't think this is a given for Callum, because it's a tough fight. His toughest fight, as far as I'm concerned, today as a professional.
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to add on what Johnny's talking about, the loss of his sister. Some fighters, some people can compartmentalise better than others. I remember Teofimo Lopez fighting Josh Taylor. I remember that fight week. It seemed from the bits we were seeing back home that he was having a breakdown. He was going through a lot of stuff in his personal life. And I remember thinking, well, because of where he is, I was quite high on Taylor. I thought he was going to be... I didn't think Teofimo Lopez would be at the races. And he actually put on one of his best performance of his whole career. So, when you think about Mike Tyson and the Michael Spinks fight, his life was falling apart outside the ring. But it was one of his best wins of his career. So some fighters can park stuff.
Yeah, and compartmentalisation is an absolutely key part of boxing. I've talked to you two about this a lot. The fear that can drive you through training camp has to disappear during fight week. You have to be able to flick certain switches, don't you? And this is kind of a more extreme example of that. But again, it comes down really to the same thing in a way. Stylistically, what kind of interests me about it is that against Chelly, you've got two fighters who like to come forward, Callum Simpson and Zach Chelly, and it was Simpson who imposed himself on Chelly and didn't allow Chelly to do what he normally does. I get the feeling that Team Woodall like the fact that they know that Simpson is going to come, because they feel that he comes over the top of that front foot a bit, and like he did against Lerone Richards, Steed Woodall has got the skill to take a little half step back and catch him. They feel that stylistically Callum Simpson is exactly right for them.
Yeah, I totally get that. I think Woodall will be looking to try and walk Callum Simpson onto a shot. I don't know if Woodall can go at the pace. I don't know if he's got the work rate to beat Simpson on points, unless he can really tame him and bring the pace down. Simpson, his fitness is probably, his work rate, his fitness, his volume of points is probably his best asset. And so I don't think Woodall can match him for that. But what Woodall, we know he can bang, and the fact that he's quite aggressive, Callum, I think Woodall will be looking to walk him onto the right hand.
One thing I like about Callum is the fact that he can drop the pace and up the pace in an instant, in a punch, in a footstep. And pace will be the key because Woodall will be consistent, he'll be on it, he'll be smart, he'll be crafty. So what's going to work for Callum in his favour is pace. He's got to keep picking that pace up or dropping it down. Make sure the fight is at his pace. Don't get involved in a war, because if he gets involved in a war, to me, as far as I'm concerned, it favours Woodall. He's got to box and bash, box smart, because anything else, this fight will be a hell of a lot harder for him.
Well, let's talk a bit of Caroline Dubois. She's now the WBC World Lightweight Champion. She's been waiting to see what would happen with Katie Taylor and that belt for a while. She was interim champion. Good performance against Myra Moneo in Barnsley on that Callum Simpson, Zach Chelly undercard back in August. She's been elevated at the WBC convention to full champion, which we thought would probably happen because Katie Taylor hasn't defended those lightweight titles for quite some time. But given who she is and what she's done, I think it was fair enough that they gave her time to make that decision, frustrating though it is for other people. In Jessica Camara, she's got an experienced opponent, somebody who's been in deep at a higher weight against Callie Reese, who was a very, very good fighter. And you could see yesterday at the press conference, Johnny, that she's got the seasoning, because Caroline was spoiling for an argument yesterday. She was ready to go yesterday. And it was almost like, we were laughing about it before, Johnny. It was almost like, what did you say?
I like this new version of Caroline, where she's responsible. Now she's been let off the leash. And so I like the way she tries to bully and intimidate anybody that's in front of her, no matter how much experience they've got more than her. She's got the naivety and the hunger of a young lioness that fears nothing. I like that about it. No matter how confident you are, when you've got something like that in front of you, it's dangerous. It's dangerous because they don't know the dangers that are in front of them, so they're going to throw everything at you, the kitchen sink at you. They're talking like you don't understand. They're talking to you in a way where you're going to have to think about yourself. So I'm quite sure this version of Caroline, she needs to grow into that person to say, look, you know, I'm still learning, and look who I am now. She's a young lioness coming through. I love everything about who she is now.
Yeah, she was looking to start an argument in an empty room yesterday. It wasn't an empty room, but you know what I mean. It was funny.
Yeah, no, she was, and you know, she didn't really. Camara was too sort of laid back, relaxed, calm, experienced. Didn't get into it, but even the fact that she didn't want to get into it, Callum was still going again and going again. She was really trying to follow her into it, you know. And but look, everyone's different. What I will say about Caroline Dubois is, and this isn't always the case, but I'm yet to see her have a bad performance. She's literally gone from strength to strength to strength. She's getting better and better every single fight.
Yeah, she has, absolutely. And Camara, I had a chat with her about 10-15 minutes ago. As I say, she's been around the block. She's got a couple of defeats on the record that you wouldn't have expected. But the fight against Kaylee Reese and the win away against Hyun-Mi Choi, where she was absolutely recruited to be a name to get on the record there, and she won by split decision away in South Korea. That shows that she's not going to be intimidated by the occasion.
You've also got to remember, Caroline said to her, the reason why you've had these high-profile fights is because they picked you, because they knew they could pick you, they knew they could beat you. So it's no big deal that you may have boxed more high caliber of opponent than me. It just means you're a soft touch. So you see how she's looking at it. She's looking at it thinking they picked you, they could beat you. That's exactly what I'm going to do. She's not intimidated by whoever opponent is it.
I don't think Caroline Dubois will be intimidated by anyone. I just think she's got absolute belief in her own ability, and she's on a mission. I think she's hungry, young, and when you're young and you're on the way up, you are a little bit fearless. You can see that in Caroline.
Okay, so there's plenty of other fights on the card, and we will get to them as we're talking to you through the weigh-in. Let's get that started now. Here's Big Mo.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and good afternoon to our viewers joining us on Sky Sports, and welcome to the Cutler's Hall here in Sheffield, ahead of the first Boxer Fight Night on Sky Sports of 2025. Tomorrow night is True Grit, as we see the return of Callum Simpson defending his British and Commonwealth titles against Steed Woodall, and also Caroline Dubois making her first defense of the WBC World Championship. We begin our weigh-ins first by thanking our partners Betfred, Riyadh Season, That Prize Guy, and Car Finance 24/7. We begin our weigh-ins with 4 3-minute rounds in the lightweight division. Introducing first to the scales, fighting out of the blue corner tomorrow night. He is making his professional debut, fighting out of right here in Sheffield, England. Please welcome Liam Fitzmaurice. Official weight 9 stone, 10 pounds for Liam Fitzmaurice. And now his opponent fighting out of the red corner, he is undefeated as a professional with 1 victory, opposite no defeats. Fighting out of Leeds, England, please welcome to the scales, Ellis Wild Child Price. Official weight 9 stone, 10 pounds, 5 ounces for Ellis Price.
So his second professional outing for Ellis Price, younger brother of Opie, so lots of boxing in that family. Like his older brother, travelled the world as an amateur, got a bronze medal at the European Schoolboys, at the European Juniors, did the same thing, went to the European Youth, turned pro fairly young and made a good professional debut. Like his brother Matt, he's trained by Dave Caldwell, and speaking to Dave about him, he's got a very strong confidence in his ability and his ability to move quick, so it'll be interesting to see him in the flesh.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him. Like you say, quite a decorated amateur there, achieved all the way up along, very experienced as well, very well schooled. You know, we've seen his brother box many times, and I'm expecting he's much of the same stamp.
Interestingly though, Johnny, he's in with someone here, Ellis Price, and Liam Fitzmaurice, who does have quite a lot of experience himself. It's his pro debut, but he's done a lot of white collar. He did box as an amateur, and he's in good nick. he knows that he's here as the B-side, obviously, but this is a chance for him to make a good name for himself, whether it be in the away corner or not. You know, this is a big stage for him.
Yeah, and remember, Dave Caldwell's no fool. He knows what Price is about, what he's capable of doing. So for his professional debut, he'd have made sure it's a fight that favours him, a fight that is well within his capabilities, and he also is familiar with the opponent as well. So I think this is a good run out for you. So I'd expect it to be a display for Price. They rates him massively. So I'll be interested to see how this one rolls out.
So Ellis Price just getting the fluids on board, pulling on a T-shirt, and then he'll be having a chat with Andy. They look so alike, the two brothers. There's a couple of years between them in age, but they really do look alike. Okay, he's with Andy now.
Ellis, grab a quick word with you. What are you hoping for tomorrow night? A lot of the time I speak to fighters in this position, they say that's the hard bit out the way now, making weight, and now we get to enjoy ourselves.
Yeah, obviously I get to enjoy myself now, and I'm looking to put on a dominant performance tomorrow night.
It's always interesting when you're facing someone who hasn't had a professional fight. What can you expect from Liam Fitzmaurice? There's probably not that much to study. It's probably a bit of a throwback to the amateurs that you won't know until you get in there.
Yeah, listen, it's something that I'm not used to, so yeah, I'll perform.
Biggest platform for you to showcase your skills. What's your final message for us?
Well, I want to thank Sky Sports and Boxer for putting me on a good platform early in the year, and let's get cracking.
Looking forward to it. Good luck.
Thank you.
And now we move to the middleweight division, ladies and gentlemen, scheduled for 6 3-minute rounds live from Sheffield tomorrow night on Sky Sports. Introducing first to the scales, he holds a professional record of 6 victories versus 2 defeats, and he fights out of Dulwich, England. Please welcome Emmanuel E.Z. Zion.
If we don't believe, but I believe in me. God give me some credit.
Official weight, 11 stone, 9 pounds for Emmanuel Zion.
So where you gonna go?
And his opponent fighting out of the red corner tomorrow night, he is undefeated. As a professional with 6 victories, opposite no defeats, fighting out of Manchester, England by way of Almada, Portugal. Please welcome Super Mario Silva.
They told us don't you ever come around here. Don't wanna see your face, you better disappear. The fire's in their eyes and their words are really clear. So beat it, just beat it. You better run, you better do what you can. Don't wanna see no blood, don't be a macho man. You wanna be
Official weight, 11 stone, 8 pounds, 5 ounces for Super Mario Silva.
Mario Silva looks ripped to an absolute shred there as he gets onto the scales. Emmanuel Zion, I saw a few weeks ago before Christmas at York Hall. He was in with Ryan Maycock, didn't get the win, but he's a good, tidy fighter, well-organised fighter, dedicated pro. Matt, we saw Mario Silva in Barnsley, outdoors at Oakwell. He put on a good performance stopping Dale Arrowsmith, a guy who's difficult to stop. He got it done in good style. He's got a plan, hasn't he? Him and his dad Paulie, who was a good fighter himself. He's grown up in this business. He understands what it is. He knows that he needs to entertain, and he's certainly got some confidence.
Yeah, he looked good and then talked really well afterwards. Won so much self-confidence and belief of where he's going and what he can achieve. It was really actually entertaining to listen to.
It definitely was. It definitely was. Johnny, you talk about this quite a lot, how fighters, when they're on their way through, they need to understand what this is. You know, it's show business with blood. People want to see action. They want to see stoppages. That's what they want. And you get the sense that this lad understands all of that.
Yeah, he does. So you know what? He's like a sponge. We spoke after the Barnsley show, and he was like, he got it. He got it. Understood what he had to do. He wasn't running away with. I think he's one of those kids that'll keep his feet firmly on the ground because he loves the sport, the business side of it, as well as the fighting side of it.
Okay, here he is with Andy.
Super Mario Silva looking ripped and ready on the scales there. Is that testament to all the hard work you've been putting in behind closed doors?
As always, we're always putting in hard work, and thank God and thank my dad for the hard work we've put in. Thank you to Ben Shalom. Thank you for everyone for making this possible. So on Saturday, you're going to see lights out.
Yeah, I mean, I want to ask you a little bit more about that. You've obviously got natural height and reach advantage over your opponent. We could see that at the head-to-head there. How important is it that you make them pay in your favour?
It's not about making that pay in my favour. Zion is a very talented, skilled, strategic fighter, so I'm going into this fight expecting the worst of the worst, so be prepared for a game of chess.
We're enjoying sort of a little bit of hype around you. It's been good to see so far. Do you believe you can keep building on these performances and make a real statement here?
Of course, I'm going to keep doing it, and I'm going to keep putting on these great performances, and I'm putting money back on the map.
Looking forward to it. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Moving right along, ladies and gentlemen, we now arrive at the light heavyweight division tomorrow night, scheduled for 8 3-minute rounds from the Cannon Medical Arena here in Sheffield. Introducing first to the scales, he holds a professional record of 15 victories versus 7 defeats. Fighting out of Darwin, England, please welcome Mickey Ellison.
Tea house up north or near the coast through Dubai, there's both. Spend this bread on jewels, we'll spend it on both. Can't up this money from or money from shows, man, can't up both. Pass me the pattern business and a pattern up home, man, pattern them both. Face jam me up for, trying to do me for both. They want me back.
Weight 12 stones, 6 pounds for Mickey Ellison.
Money young success, just let a young go govern up both.
And now his opponent fighting out of the red corner, he is undefeated as a professional with 12 victories opposite no defeats. Fighting out of Droylsden, England, please welcome Billy Turkish Tyson Dennis.
G5 my blood brother, he be throwing bees up. And me, I got Chanel sweat, you know I be seed up. I think that's for every cup, still be the 11 stop. Keep it with us long flop, look at me, I'm on the track. On the top, but I'm on top, I don't win in 10 o'clock.
Official weight 12 stones, 6 pounds for Turkish Tyson, Billy Dennis.
Well, Billy Dennis coming in under the light heavyweight limit there. I think that's emblematic of the fact that he's going to win the title fight as soon as he can get one, if he can get the job done tomorrow night. And it is an if, because Mickey Ellison is a good fighter. He's boxed for a Central Area title, an English title. Lost the English title against Charlie Schofield, the fighter he previously beaten when Schofield was 15-0. Has taken down some undefeated fighters. Has mixed in some very good company recently. Radovoja, Kaladze, Linus Sadofia, Lerone Richards. Didn't win those fights, but he absolutely knows his way around the ring. We saw Dennis in Barnsley again, Johnny. He was another one who was on that card. He did a lot as a kickboxer. The vibe he has is that he knows exactly what life is about as a pro athlete, as a pro fighter. He's been active, he knows that he needs experience, he needs rounds against all sorts of different opponents, and that's what he's gone about doing, and this is another good example of that.
Yeah, listen to the kind of guy that'll snap a winning streak, and he'll go straight against the grain and rip up any stage play you've got set up. He's got the height, he's got the reach, but you know what?
Mickey Ellison versus Billy Dennis.
Dennis is the kind of fighter where he wants to tear up. He can box, but he wants to tear up, and they'll have to go looking for it. And it'll suit him better when these two are up tight, up close and personal.
Trained by Joe Gallagher. It's got a slightly unusual style, which is often the case when you come into boxing from a different martial art. The Turkish Tyson, there's plenty to like about him, Matt.
Yeah, a bit flashy, but no harm in that. Lots of confidence. Like I say, come from the kickboxing background, strong, tough kid, can punch a bit as well, and he's making a name for himself in the boxing world.
Training out of the Champs camp, has got Marcus Morrison with him today, who we see more and more in corners now. I think he's making that switch from fighter to trainer as the weeks and months go past. Okay, here's Billy Dennis now with Andy.
Billy, you had your backs to us there, so we couldn't see what was being said, but it all seemed in good nature. What was the message that you had for him, and what did he have to say back?
It's going to be a good show, it's going to be a gun show. Let's put on a good night for everyone.
Yeah, your trainer's in earshot, so I don't want to say too much. Presumably he would like a nice, disciplined, back foot performance showing your boxing skills, but at the same time, I think if Mickey gets his way, it will be a war. Is that what you're after?
Listen, whatever Mickey's got planned, we're prepared for, so whatever, bring it.
I think I mentioned it yesterday, the boxing grapevine of stories and reputations. Your name's doing the rounds. There's a lot of people saying a lot of good things about you. How do you make sure you transfer that from the gym lights to the fight night lights?
Perform on the night, do a number on Mickey, and look onto bigger things.
Is that what you think you can do? If you put it all together, you think you can do a number on a guy that's notoriously tough?
Definitely, you know, I've got all the ability and capability, and I'm confident. Let's go.
Billy, wish you all the best of luck. Let's bring in Mickey Ellison if you can. Mickey, what was your response to that? I mean, he says any which way you'll do it. I mean, I didn't think you would stay around, so this is quite nice. We've got both of you, but okay.
Just, yeah, have a good fight Saturday night and let's get it on, yeah.
I also get the impression if you would have your way, you would quite happily take this to deep waters and make this a swing up and a scrap.
Or as soon as we dive in, either way, right from the beginning or, like I say, in deep waters, just see how it goes in there. But I'm coming to win, that's what I'm here for.
You've had notice as well, which you mentioned yesterday is a big, a real big factor for you. Does that give you the confidence that you can go in there and upset another unbeaten fighter in Billy?
Yeah, definitely, that's the plan. 100% ready for this and ready to go in there and come away victorious and beat Billy.
Looks like a good fight on paper. I hope it delivers. Best of luck to both of you.
And now to the middleweight division, ladies and gentlemen. 6 3-minute rounds for boxer True Grit tomorrow night, live on Sky Sports and NBC's Peacock. Introducing first to the blue corner, he fights out of Stratford upon Avon, England. Please welcome Lewis Howes.
Wait till I get my money right. I had a dream I could buy my way to heaven. When I awoke, I spent that on a necklace.
Official weight 11 stone 9 pounds for Lewis Howes.
So hard not to act reckless. To whom much is given, much is tested. Get arrested, guess until he get the message.
And now his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, coming off his first professional victory. He is now undefeated as a professional, fighting out of Dundee, Scotland. Please welcome to the scales, Sam Hickey. Official weight 11 stone 9 pounds for Sam Hickey.
I see Hickey a lot around the Sheffield area. Yesterday when he came in, he came in with a lot of the GB squad here. They're moving like a pack of wolves, those boys do. And I can remember going into the Institute of Sport, told him, said, watch out for me, I'm going to make a massive difference. And it was just nice to see the confidence of these young, naive fighters coming through. But the kid's got talent.
He absolutely does. He won a Commonwealth Games gold medal, a European Championship bronze medal. Both fights were against Lewis Richardson. He won one, he lost one. He was at 75 kilos and that weight got removed from the Olympics, so that just dealt him a massive blow, to be honest. He couldn't make it down to 71 kilos. Lewis somehow managed to do that. I'm still not quite sure how. And jumping up to 80 was just too much, so in the end he had to give up on Paris and the Olympics and has turned pro, but he gave us a good professional debut when we last saw him. But Lewis Howes is a good fighter. We've seen him once before. He was a good amateur too. Got to the quarterfinals of the European Youth, was selected for the 2018 Commonwealth, but at that point had wandered away from boxing. And Lewis Howes, he fancies himself here. You can understand why he does, but Hickey impressed on debut.
He did impress, very well schooled. We know he's a decorated amateur. Like you say, very unfortunate with kind of missing the weight there. He took not quite big enough to cut to 80 kilos, so he's turned over. But this is a good fight, particularly for his second professional fight.
It is. It absolutely is, and that's the good thing about the matches on this card. You know, we just saw the way in there for Dennis and Mickey Ellison. That's another good match. The right-hand side of the card is coming here with real ambition.
Professional fight number 2. I just wonder the difference between your debut, when there might have been one or two nerves and it was all new to you, all of this, and today, and how you're feeling, and how would you quantify that difference?
Yeah, it's different, man. Different kind of energy. You know, this guy's coming for me, so just need to stop that and put an end to what he thinks he can do. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I don't know you too well, but I can guess that you'll probably benefit from this, won't you? Lewis is here, he's a proud man, he's coming to win, he probably feels a tad disrespected that someone in their second pro fight thinks that they can come and put a win on him, but I get the impression that this will bring the best out of you.
Yeah, of course, I boxed the best in the world for years. You know, there's levels. He's not on my level, that's it. I just need to go and put a performance on tomorrow, show everybody what I'm all about.
Seen plenty of happy boxer employee faces with the tickets that you sold all the way from Scotland. It does show that you're ready to build a following there, and they're going to follow you up and down the UK.
Yeah, 100%. Got 150 odd coming down tomorrow. Looking forward to hearing them when I box. Just want to do the same as what like the likes of Callum that's doing down here up in Scotland. You know, bringing thousands to watch me fight. So yeah, that's the end goal.
Yeah, that's a great message, and the way you can reinforce that is by beating people like Lewis. How do you go about it?
Yeah, 100%. Just sharp boxing, you know. I've boxed at the highest level. All my amateurs I've turned over. I want to move in a good direction. Don't want to be fighting guys like the last opponents. That's why we've got him, and he's confident. So it's only going to play into my hands if he comes on to me or walk onto one.
Wish you all the best of luck tomorrow night. Let's bring in Lewis for a quick word. I've got the same sort of question for you as well. When we did you down in Cardiff, it was all very new to you, the bright lights, the cameras, and you made the point yesterday, maybe that swallowed you up a little bit. I wonder how you feel now. You've been through this before. This isn't new to you. Have you benefited from that whole experience?
Yeah, definitely. I'm really confident. I actually feel great. Like no nerves whatsoever. Last time I put a lot of pressure on myself. So yeah, I feel good. I'm ready to go. He says he's levels above me, but what they forget is 7 years ago, I quit the sport. But before that, I was a highly decorated amateur Welsh boxer. So I just want to say it's Wales v Scotland, not England v Scotland. I am Welsh. I just box out of England. But no, I was a good amateur myself. I boxed at European level. I was selected for the Commonwealth Games, which I just chose not to go to. Fell out of love with the sport, but I'm back, and I'll prove a point on Saturday night.
Do you feel the benefit of this sort of test as well? You could have rebuilt and gone on the road and perhaps taken, no disrespect to anyone, but some softer touches. Sam Hickey, they've got high hopes for. Presumably you want to show everyone they've made a mistake selecting you.
Well, that's the thing. I don't want to be telling people to come watch me fight, for me to fight some journeyman who's going to run away from me for 4, 6, 8 rounds. I want to fight the best, and I want to progress. I want to be one of the best in the UK and then move on from there. So these are the type of fights I thrive on, and that's what I want.
Yep, we're looking forward to it. Best of luck to you tomorrow night.
And now we move to the Cruiserweight division for another England versus Scotland matchup. 8 3-minute rounds. Introducing first to the scales, fighting out of the blue corner. He holds a professional record of 8 victories versus 2 defeats, with 6 of those wins coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Lewisham, England, please welcome Devon Miller. Weight 14 stone 4 pounds for Devon Miller. And now his opponent fighting out of the red corner. He is undefeated as a professional with 6 victories, opposite no defeats, with 3 of those wins coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Edinburgh, Scotland, please welcome Scott Forrest. Weight 14 stone 4 pounds for Scott Forrest.
And this is an interesting fight between these two. Devon Miller is 8-2. Defeats coming in his first fight and in his most recent fight, both against the same opponent in Lewis Oakford, who also beat him in the amateurs a couple of times. And his team feel like he's just that guy, Lewis Oakford, that if he boxed him 10 times, he probably couldn't beat him. He's just got his number, if you like. But that defeat recently is what has got him this fight. It's lulled Forrest and his team into a false sense of security. Forrest 6-0 has struggled for momentum in recent times, now based over in Latvia, has made the move over there to be with his partner and son and daughter full time. And you can understand the thinking, can't you, from Team Miller, because sometimes a defeat can get you a fight that you might necessarily not have got had it not been for that L, because it can be quite seductive to an opponent and their team. That's what they're thinking.
Unfortunately, that's how this game works. They're not, you know, people make mistakes, promoters make mistakes. They'll think he'd lost his last fight, so his confidence and self-belief might have dropped a little bit. It'd be a good name on the, a good scalp on the record. I think they've probably bitten off a little bit here. I think Miller will be a bit of a handful. He's got to be consistent. He's got to try and control the pace. He's got to not make sure he doesn't get involved in the tear-up. I've seen Forrester box before. He's a strong, rugged individual. Miller was complaining that they dropped the fight down from 10 rounds to 8 rounds. To him, he said to him they're worried about his stamina, Forrester's stamina. But yeah, we'll wait and see. We'll see how the fight rolls out. But he knows the first 3 rounds are dangerous, and he shouldn't get dragged in.
He's always in absolutely incredible shape, Scott Forrest. He was a good amateur, went to a couple of Commonwealth Games, got a silver at the World Youth Championships. He's frustrated. I think there's a lot of frustration that could come out in his performance tomorrow night. And as I say, it's a good matchup between these two. Okay, Scott is now with Andy.
Between you two yesterday, what did he say to you? Run, Forrest, run, and you said you're the only one that's going to be running. Do you think he will stand and fight you tomorrow?
The minute he feels the power, he's not going to be standing there. He's going to be on his bike all night.
That's what you think is going to happen? 100%.
He's got nothing there.
If that is the case, do you have the footwork, the ring IQ to cut that ring off and get to him?
Standard for me. Everyone's been the same. Every time I step in there, they feel the power, they're on the bike. I just need to shut them down and shut them up and knock them out.
Do you mind if I ask what might have changed? Everybody that's been around you yesterday and today, walking with a bit of a swagger, a little bit of a chip on your shoulder, maybe a little bit of a point to prove. What's changed? Or is this just the Scott Forrest coming to the surface now?
Listen, the last time you've seen me, I'm a different animal compared to them, so we're ready for it.
What is your prediction? He's over there, Devon Miller. He's looking over. He's going to come and have his chance to have a response. So what's your final message to him?
He can say what he wants, but don't blink because he's getting splattered.
Okay, well, I will give him a chance to respond to that. Scott Forrest, thank you very much. Devon, come and have your say on that. You said to him yesterday, run, Forrest, run. And he just said, if he has his way, you're getting splattered. So what is your response to that?
I was finding it funny, man. We'll see tomorrow. The talk is done.
I think we're lapping this up, you know, as a broadcaster, and Ben Shalom over your shoulder as a promoter. 2 in shape, good looking, good talking, cruiserweights ready to put it on. I mean, what's not to like?
The cruiserweight division's popping, so there's a lot to like, and the show's going to be good. It's going to be a good fight.
He said to you that he didn't actually say it to you, but he said he's stepping over these cruiserweights as stepping stones to bigger and better things. Is that a mistake, taking you as an option?
Of course it is. My skills will pay the bills.
And if this is the launch pad, where's this career going of Devon Miller if you get through him tomorrow night?
Let's get tomorrow done.
What is your prediction finally then?
Stoppage.
Okay, look forward to it. Good luck.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we arrived at our chief support bout tomorrow night, and it is for the world title. 10 2-minute rounds for the WBC Lightweight Championship of the World. Introducing first the challenger, fighting out of the blue corner. She holds a professional record of 14 victories versus 4 defeats, with 3 of those wins coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Introducing the former World Championship contender. Introducing Jessica, the Cobra, Camara.
I'm living in that 21st century, doing something mean to it. Do it better
Official weight, 9 stone, 8 pounds, Jessica Camara.
Nice ring to it. I guess every superhero need his theme music. No one man should have all that.
And now her opponent, the defending champion, fighting out of the red corner. She is undefeated as a professional with 10 victories. Opposite, no defeats, with 5 of those wins coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of London, England, introducing the current reigning IBO World Champion and the current reigning defending WBC Lightweight Champion of the World, Steed Caroline Dubois.
So both of these two have safely made weight, so we have a contest, the WBC lightweight title on the line. Caroline Dubois making the first defence after she was elevated from interim champion, and the way she looks at it, Matt, this is her world title fight for a vacant belt, essentially. That's how she's looking at it, and that's the right way to think about it.
Definitely. She didn't have that moment and the new in the ring, so even though she's been elevated to it, she will feel like she's, when she wins tomorrow night, she'll believe that's her becoming world champion.
And you look at the pair of them on the scales, Johnny, and they both look very, very good. I don't think either one has taken too much out of themselves to make it. They'll have to work hard, just hard enough, but they both look very, very well.
Both given this making sure they're making the most of this opportunity. You look at height-wise now, it looks like Caroline's just got the edge on there. I know they've both got trainers on, but I think size-wise makes this fight perfect. Caroline, she's just got that spite about her, with a smile on her face. And you can understand, yeah, as you say, she's like a coiled spring. She can cause trouble in an empty room. This is what she wants. She wants to try and intimidate her opponent.
I like that from Camara though, Matt, because what that was about was, I think she felt
yesterday.
You took it to me yesterday. I'm taking it to you today. Got right up there, forehead to forehead. Some people don't like, even fighters, when you're kind of used to this, they don't really like their space being taken like that. So that was an experienced old school move.
Yeah, I think she probably reflected on yesterday and thought Caroline tried to stick it on me, and I let her have that a little bit. But tomorrow when we go face to face, I'm going to put it on her, and that's what she tried to do there.
I was talking to Camara just before we got going earlier on, and she's actually married to a fighter. They boxed each other in her second pro fight, Erica Hernandez, and the romance blossomed from that point onwards. She's not here though, she's back in Canada looking after their pit bull Kira. But she will be watching. Okay, anyway, enough of that. Here's Caroline Belandi.
Reaction, that was a pretty feisty head-to-head, it's fair to say. What's your reaction to that?
To be honest, no reaction. I feel so confident. I genuinely feel so calm, it's crazy. I don't know if it's the world title or the fact that this has been the best camp that I've ever had. I just feel so confident, I'm so calm. I don't think anyone can get under my skin, to be honest. I'm just so, I'm ready. I'm going
to ask Jessica for her take in a second, but what do they say? The eyes are the window to the soul. What do you see when you looked into her eyes? Do you see confidence or do you see fear?
I see fear, to be honest. I see a lot of fear. I see a lot of nerves. I see a lot of, the energy isn't there, to be honest. I feel nothing. I'm so confident. I'm ready.
Do you mind if I mention the crowd here today? You boxed in Barnsley before, a world champion now. That was a really nice reception from a group of fans that aren't necessarily your fans. I wonder what your reaction to that was.
I'm so blessed coming up here. Obviously fought in Barnsley in the last show, and the crowd, the atmosphere, the people were amazing, and I'm so happy to be here again. Supported by obviously Callum's fan, and it's amazing. It's like coming to a second home, to be honest.
You worked hard to get your hands on a world title. How desperate are you to keep hold of it tomorrow and add to it later in the year?
Listen, this isn't the end for me. This is just the start. Jessica, with all the respect, is just a stone in the way. She's a pebble in my shoe right now, and I've got to kick her out the way.
Okay, well, best of luck with that. Let's bring in Jessica for her reaction to that. Jessica, come and join us here. There's plenty to talk to you about. It was all respect, mostly respectful yesterday, but did you feel a little bit of disrespect when she was questioning your credentials yesterday?
No, I mean, I know how this game works. She believes in herself. I believe in mine. I believe in myself. She was just up in my face and shoving me in the weigh-in face to face. So I felt just a little disrespected today. So I had to show her what's up.
What do you think will be the difference between you and her tomorrow night? You've got that experience in terms of professional rounds, but you haven't been where she's been to yet in terms of getting your hands on the world title belt. Do you think you can finally get over the line tomorrow?
That's the motivation. That's the goal, is to be world champion, and I have what it takes to do it, and that's what I'm here to do.
Long way from home, but you will have plenty of fans watching back home. What's your message to them?
Stay tuned. Keep your eye out. It's going to be fireworks.
What did she call you there? A pebble in her shoe that she's got to kick out the way? Okay, well, best of luck tomorrow night, and apologies for the language.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the main event tomorrow night here in Sheffield. 12 3-minute rounds for the British Commonwealth and WBA Continental Super Middleweight Championships. Introducing first, the challenger. Fighting out of the blue corner, he holds a professional record of 19 victories versus just 2 defeats and 1 draw, with 12 of those wins coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Birmingham, England, please welcome the current reigning WBO Intercontinental Super Middleweight Champion. He is the Stallion, Steed Woodall. Official weight 12 stone even for Steed Woodall. And now his opponent fighting out of the red corner. The defending champion, he's undefeated as a professional with 15 victories, opposite no defeats. And he fights out of Barnsley, England, introducing the current reigning British Commonwealth and WBA Continental Super Middleweight Champion, Callum Simpson.
Look to my eye in the face and I said, is there any point even taking it? Big fat grins on me, say where, cause you know this life, it's better with a smile. Back to base, get set up on a file, got blueprints stacked up, everything on a pile. This EP's been ready for a while, been laying it down like terrible stars. If you check YouTube, I was shelling as a child, I had too much. Takers in my style and I knew that, yeah, I went fit in the now. Young mechanical, terrible, wild. What one Donical, why you want smoke with one equal? 10 years deep in my corner, still not tricking it down. Wow, must say life is a push deep. Tipsy and up, blood splash, ringside seat. When big simp leg man down with beach on. With Joe Keaton and some other OGs, napkins up in the
So they both made weight, and again, like our chief support, we have a fight. Steed Woodall bang on the 12-stone limit. You see him standing on the scales there, just waiting for the needle to settle. Callum Simpson coming in a pound underneath, and Matt, they both look terrific. If you go up the weight divisions from super lightweight onwards, from 10 stone onwards, the jumps are quite big. They're basically half a stone a time, and quite often people can get stuck between weights, but these two, they're exactly right at super middle.
Yeah, they're tough. They're right at the top end of it, aren't they? I mean, Steed Woodall there, absolutely shredded. And of course, Callum, big for the weight as well, very tall. Yeah, two big super middles.
I'm looking at Woodall. He looks so calm and confident. And he stood there on his own. He's thinking, there's no pressure on me, and you don't know what I'm about. That's the years of being trained in gyms where you're sparring with elite fighters. There's a comfort about him. Tomorrow night it's about Callum Simpson being in a position where, like, you know what, I've got to step this up. I've got to show my special. And it's going to be a really, really tough fight. And his fans are going to have to see him dig deep if he is that special fighter we think he is.
What's interesting about this as well is that originally, when this fight was made, it was a voluntary. Callum Simpson offered Steed Woodall the fight and he took it, but after that they then went to the board boxer and said, actually, look, can this be given mandatory status because of the opponent we've chosen? And the board said yes. So that just shows you the calibre of opponent that Simpson has chosen to take it.
Yeah, definitely, because you'd imagine fighting someone like Steed Woodall, you wouldn't do that unless he was your mandatory, and he's someone that you would think he's definitely got to become your mandatory. So I'm glad that the board have done that. It's his, if he is to win, it's his mandatory out the way, and he can hopefully get a couple of quick voluntaries and win the London double outright. But getting over tomorrow night ain't going to be easy.
No, it's a big if. And as Steed was saying at the press conference yesterday, he's beaten a former IBO, European, British and Commonwealth champion in Lerone Richards. And so on paper, Callum Simpson is not his toughest test. It's been very respectful between the pair of them. This is a long, intense stare down. They just had a little nod at each other there, Johnny, and agreed to break it off before we got into Usyk Fury territory, because if these things go on any longer than 30-40 seconds, then it's a thing, then you're in it and you can't look away.
That's it, exactly. That's exactly what it is. And I think these boys don't need to go there. The mutual respect for each other is there. They don't need the bad blood. This will be a good fight no matter what. And they know they've got to turn it on the second the bell goes. So intimidation, doesn't need it. Callum knows he's in there, and Woodall knows that Callum respects him. That's all you need. Fighters just know that they need to believe that they're respected and feared.
Okay, so Callum just putting those belts over his shoulder, and he will now wander over for a chat with Andy.
The champion. There's plenty of belts on plenty of shoulders, but these are the ones we're focused on. British and Commonwealth titles. Worked hard to get them in front of that crowd in Oakwell back in the summer. There's been a hell of a lot of respect between the two of you. What have you got to do tomorrow to make sure you keep hold of them?
Listen, I've worked very hard to get these, and I've worked even harder to keep them. And on Saturday night, I'm planning on keeping them. They're going to be staying in Yorkshire.
Yeah, it's interesting you said Yorkshire there. We're in Sheffield today, but your Barnsley fans have travelled. But how important is it for you that you're building this fan base across Yorkshire, not just Barnsley, but across all of Yorkshire?
Yeah, it's massively important to me, you know. Like I said, it's not just my journey, it's our journey. You know, they've supported me since day one. You know, we sold that out well. We've sold out this event. We're going to be selling out many more venues coming in the future. And, you know, we're only 10 miles down the road. I can remember when I was younger going to watch Kelbrook at Sheffield Arena and looking up to him and thinking, like, oh, look, he's the guy. Like, you know, the massive atmosphere. And now I'm becoming that guy. So, yeah, it's a dream come true.
Yeah, you'll walk to the ring tomorrow, not only with that target on your back, but also as the champion. But do you think you still will have that challenger hunger, that challenger mentality, or do you feel in a number of ways like now you've got those belts, you have grown into a champion?
It don't matter about challenger, champion. My mindset's always the same. It's to become the best I can become. And, you know, I'm nowhere near the finished product. These are belts that I've got now, and I'm going to push on to it for even bigger titles. So for now, they're good, but you know, I'm happy but not complacent.
If you're going to do that, you've got to get past a very fired-up Steed Woodall, who looks in great shape as well. How do you go about beating him?
Just turn up and do what I do. Like I said, I've prepared well. I've trained very hard for this fight, and I'm focused. And as long as I go in there and do the best that I can do, I believe that the best Callum Simpson beats the best Steed Woodall.
And I think Callum Simpson is synonymous with the fan base, so you might as well give them one last message to the fans that have come out today and the fans from Barnsley that are going to come down tomorrow.
Yeah, again, massive thank you to everybody as always. You know, turn out the numbers to support me. I know there's a few today that rang in sick at work. I'm not going to say any names. And obviously, Colin, big shout out to Colin as well. Made noise for every single fighter. So as always, thank you very much. And the Barnsley game this weekend, tomorrow's called off. So my phone's been going crazy for tickets for tomorrow, but unfortunately, it's sold out. So yeah, everyone tune in Sky Sports. Going to be a massive night, and I'll put in a performance.
Yeah, you're doing my job. Come and watch it on Sky Sports. Steed Woodall, let's bring you in. Steve, first thing, I mean, looked in incredible shape on the scales there. I mean, he's taller than you, obviously, but across your shoulders and the midriff there, that surely is testament to the work that you've been putting in with the Coonahans behind closed doors.
I'd say I've got a great team behind me. I'm ready for a 15-round war if needs be. But listen, we'll train for less than that. We're very explosive. You've seen the shape I'm in, my conditioning team. You know, there's a very big team. I can't mention them all, but we're in phenomenal shape, ready to go.
Yeah, it's boxing bingo, but would you say that this is the best shape that you've been in your career?
Absolutely. You know, listen, a lot of the times when you've seen me out there on TV shows, I've had 1 to 2 weeks notice, and I'm still in good shape. So you give me a full camp for this one, I'm ready to go.
You've got that sort of a bit of a reputation as a danger man and an upsetter. What would it mean to you to come and upset this Sheffield crowd tomorrow night, the Barnsley fan base, and take those belts back to Birmingham?
Listen, the last 3 opponents combined with Callum's records are 50-0. You know, records are for DJs. It means nothing to me. I've been up against the crowds before, been up against the judges, the social media, the critics. None of it matters. All that matters is me and Callum in the ring, and I'm 100% ready.
It stuck with me yesterday what you said, which is, despite what people think, I'm here on merit.
Listen, all I know is that I'm here to defend my belt as well. I'm going in there as a champion myself. I've got a champion mindset. So, listen, best wishes to Callum. I hope he's had a good camp. Let's put it on tomorrow for the fans. I'm glad all his fan base behind him. Let's make some noise tomorrow.
Yeah, I think we can all agree he brings a lot to the table from a broadcasting point of view in terms of a fan-friendly style. Anyone that's watched you fight, we know that you bring a fan-friendly style. At the end of the day, whoever walks away here, I think the broadcasters and the fans are going to be the winners. You're going to say, I'm going to win, but we think it's going to be a good fight either which way.
Absolutely. You know, anyone that's watched him, watched me fight, you haven't seen the best of me yet either. So as the levels go up, I go up. I've proven that my last 3 fights, they've been gradual step-ups. The performances have got better, and here I am, ready.
Wish you all the best of luck. The way the two of you have conducted yourself this week, it's a great advert for the sport. Best of luck to both of you.
So that's it, the talking is done now. Well, nearly. I was going to say the talking is done for Callum Simpson and Steed Woodall. It is done for Steed Woodall, but not quite for Callum Simpson, because he's joining us up here on stage with all those belts over his shoulders in his hand. They're unexpectedly heavy, those things, when you get to pick them up. I've never done it until a few months ago.
She said, put it around your neck. He said, I'm going to make room for another one tomorrow. So I thought,
well, that's the mindset, isn't it? I mean, how are you? Because we were both saying that the pair of you on the scales look fantastic.
Yeah, I'm great, mate. I'm great. And like Andy was saying, it's like boxing bingo. You know, every camp I think, how am I going to get in better shape than last camp? But every camp I seem to do it. And I think it's just that maturity, that consistency, staying in the gym and living the life. In my last 5 fights now, I've done championship weight. I've been championship at least 10 rounds. So, you know, I live in the gym and I live the life, and that consistency, it shows.
That kind of experience you had outdoors at Oakwell in the summer, it was a really, really good night. We all know about the fan base, but that just proved that they really will go, anywhere with you. It's an occasion, isn't it, a Callum Simpson fight, and that must have made you even hungrier for bigger nights.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like we just got a taste of what could be on that night. You know, we did 7,000 in the East Stand, and I think everyone see, it's one thing, he does all the tickets, got a big fan base, but I feel like Chelly were a solid British level fighter, solid champion, and beating him proved that I'm not just a ticket seller, I'm not just a hype job, that I'm a real prospect or real fighter. And this is, again, tomorrow I've got another test that I want to prove that.
We were just saying actually that when you become a champion and you win a title, British Commonwealth titles, the law of the jungle generally is that you could take a bit of a soft one if there is such a thing, first offence, but you chose him, and after having chosen him, Boxer then asked, can this actually be made a mandatory, not a voluntary, because of the calibre of opponent he's chosen? And they agreed to do that. So, some would say that this is a bit of a gamble, to be honest with you. This isn't what people normally do.
Yeah, I've had a lot of people in boxing that have said, like, if you want to take this fight, like people that know Steed, that people that I respect as well, and they're like, it's a serious fight. But I've known about Steed for years. I've known he's a top fighter for years. And again, I look in the top 10, and for me, is the hardest fight domestically. For me, is above British level for me. So yeah, again, I believe that I'm above British level. I believe is above British level, and I want to prove it Saturday.
I mean, we're all over that kind of attitude, aren't we?
Oh, big time, love it. And I'm glad he's made mandatory, because he should be the mandatory. He's, like you say, you wouldn't really pick Steed Woodall for a voluntary defence. It's a tough fight. You got a tough fight. Saturday night, he's coming to win. Made the best man win.
I think it's about also like development of fighters, and some fighters want to get to the top as fast as they can, but make sure they learn from each fight. This is one of those fights. You're gonna learn something about yourself to improve you for the next step and the next level. If you keep getting pushovers and soft touches, you just kind of just keeping your career in a certain spot until you come up against a good challenge. So to me, it's a good match, good pick, good matchmaking.
And just finally, we don't want to get into it too deeply here, but we talked before the weigh-in about the need for professional athletes to be able to compartmentalise and flick that switch and concentrate on things and put other things to one side. And with the passing of your sister, I mean, that's something you've had to be able to do, isn't it? It's something that fighters have to be able to do anyway, but particularly in this kind of situation.
Yeah, definitely, and I feel like I've shown, again, walking out to 7,000 people, that I can flip that switch and put the emotions to one side. And I've had to at this camp as well in 26. It's I think a lot of people, when they go through grief or go through emotional stuff, they bottle it up. But because I've been in camp and I've had this fight coming up, I've been doing loads of interviews talking about it every other day, and I feel that's helped as well. And obviously this fight's been a great focus for me as well.
Okay, thanks very much. We won't keep you any longer.
No, I appreciate it. Cheers, mate. Thanks, guys.
Rest up, refuel, all of that. We'll see you tomorrow night.
See you tomorrow. Thank you.
So Callum Simpson in the main event, of course, defending those British and Commonwealth titles against Steed Woodall, who brings his own belt to the table. That belt that he won with great distinction against Lerone Richards. So just so much to like about that fight in general. I think next we will move on to our chief support, which is Caroline Dubois, of course, against Jessica Camara. Caroline Dubois making the first defence of a WBC World Lightweight title that she didn't get the opportunity to win in the ring, but as discussed, the way she's looking at it, she's treating this as her fight for a vacant belt, which is the way that you you have to look at it really. But I did like what we got from Camara there at the face-to-face and also in the interview. She's got a proper confidence about her, born of the fact that she's been there and she's done things, and she's been in with some good fighters.
It's maturity, and as a fighter, you've got to stand your ground, because if you let your opponent roll over you, you're gonna see it in the fight. So Camara has to be like that. She has to think positively like that. She has to think, I'm the more mature fighter. She's a young buck coming through. I'll show what I'm about, and that's ego. You need that as a fighter, regardless.
You absolutely do, and with somebody like Dubois, with these 10 2-minute rounds, Matt, she's able to set a high tempo. She's able to keep it high. She's got those natural tools of the power and the reach. I mean, it is a tough night for Camara. She does have a lot of experience, but it's a hard ask.
Yeah, she's going to need to call on all of that experience, all of that seasoning, all of those situations that she's been through, because Dubois is a rising star, and she is approaching this fight like this is the world title fight. You know, probably doesn't really fully, properly consider herself world champion until she wins tomorrow night. So, yeah, really good fight.
And joining us is Caroline Dubois' trainer, Shane McGuigan. Shane, good to see you as always. We were kind of chuckling yesterday at the press conference because Caroline seemed ready to go at the drop of a hat at the press conference yesterday. She seemed to want to try and get some kind of a row out of Camara, who wasn't really biting, and then at the face-off we saw her give a little bit back. It's got a nice build-up to it.
Definitely, and this is all an experience for her. You know, it's the first time she's been in there with someone that genuinely believes that they can win, and that's when we're going to see the tests really come, because, you know, she's boxed girls that have come over trying to give a good account of themselves, but genuinely trying to win. Now that there's a world title on the line as well, so I think this phase of her career, she's had her early development fights. This phase of her career, we're going to see the best, and you can't really teach what fighters go through. You know, when they're confronted by somebody that genuinely wants to win and gets under their skin and stuff. That's the one thing that us as coaches can't teach. It's just when you've got to go out there and experience it. But I know that she'll be going to bed sleeping easy with confidence tonight.
I mean, what's she like to train? Because you've spoken to us in the past about how she can tend to be maybe a bit too hard on herself. She's looking for perfection all the time. You're all like that. You know, it's your tragic flaw in a way. Nothing's ever good enough. But is she one of those who sometimes you need to just say to her, listen, you're doing well, you know, give yourself a break?
Yeah, definitely. I think when she analyses her performances, like naturally, when you're taking punches in sparring, you always register the punches you're taking. You don't register the punches that you're delivering. And then when we go back, we've got cameras and we'll film a lot of the sparring. When we go back and analyse it, she gets it. She understands where she's going wrong, where she's falling in sometimes and losing her base. But all of those details is like, that's exactly what you want. You want someone to strive for perfection, because physically she's an unbelievable specimen. Like, she's so strong, she can do nearly 20 chin-ups. Like, it's unheard of that girls can do that many pull-ups, and she can back squat nearly over 100 kilos, I think, for a double. So athletically she's there. We just need to make sure that transcends into her boxing. And I think, as you've seen recently, she's getting the power, she's sitting down on her punches, but now we need to get her to go through the gears and then sustain it, and also believe, rather than thinking about, you know, going through the gears for 30-40 seconds and going, okay, I've got 5 or 6 more rounds left in this fight, let's rein it back. Have the confidence to know that you can sustain that pace. I think once she gets that, she's unstoppable.
And at 23, Matt, you look at timing in sport, and she did everything in the youths as an amateur, then slipstreamed straight into the pros, timed perfectly for an Olympic Games, a split decision away from a medal, and now she is where she is, and there's you feel like there's so much more to come potentially. Yeah,
in terms of potential and ceiling as a professional, we don't know where it could be with Caroline. The world's a oyster. That guy, you know, there's a big difference between someone being an Olympian at 27 or 28 or 18, 19, 20, you know what I mean, and then turning pro, because they haven't even really tapped into how good they could be. So, you know, she's in a good place. I think she's got good pro style. She hits, you know, hard. She's got good speed, good feet in and out. She's good fit. Like I say, very athletic and well schooled as well. So, you know, she seems to have it all.
I can't ask Shane this one, Johnny, because he can't give away secrets. But if you were Team Camara, what would you be saying to her? What's the plan? How do you unsettle
Control
Dubois?
the pace. Control the pace. I listened to Shane speak just then, and he reminded me of something he said about Adam, and when Adam Azim was fighting, it's like control him, let him have to control his pace because he just wants to go gung-ho. I think Caroline is kind of the same kind of fighter, but it's now to have confidence in the pace you've got, the aggression you've got, the style of fight you've got. But if I was Camara, I'd try and control that pace. She's got to somehow just steady the pace to fight at her pace, because if Caroline takes her out of her pace, she's going to find herself gassing. She's going to find herself throwing shots she doesn't want to throw. She's going to find herself doing things she's not planned to do. And then that's when Caroline takes over, not just physically but psychologically, and that's when you stop a fight eventually.
Just before we let you go, it's not where your focus is, but you watch everyone and everything. What are your thoughts on the main event? Because the more we think about this fight between Callum Simpson and Steed Woodall, the more we like it, basically. It seems a bolder and bolder choice of opponent, and it was a choice to begin with for him to give a voluntary to Steed Woodall for Callum Simpson. It's to be applauded. After the event, it could look foolish. We don't know.
No, I think if you got your set your sights on world level, which I know Callum has got his sights on that level, then you got to get through guys like this. I think it's going to be. He's had an awkward opponent in Chelly in his last opponent. I think this guy will be a little bit more conventional. So, but it's a great fight. You have to give Callum and the team at Boxers their credit to sort of push and strive for more, because at the end of the day, it sets you up to get onto that next level. And he's massive for the weight. He's a big lump. How's he going to perform in a few years at that weight? I don't know. He's definitely crammed into it, but he's also got the experience going out and sparring Beterbiev and people like that. And I think because he's taken it at a different rate, he's not been an Olympian, he's come from a relatively smaller circuit. You have to take these tests to go onto the level, because these are the ones that really build your name.
Okay, thanks very much. Well, that wraps it up. The talking now actually is over from the weigh-in. You can join us at 7:30 tomorrow night live on Sky Sports Main Event and Sky Sports Plus. Top of the bill, Callum Simpson against Steed Woodall for the British and Commonwealth super middleweight titles, but also Caroline Dubois making the first defence of a WBC World Lightweight title against Jessica Camara. Make sure you join us for that.